All right, let's jump right in. Something huge is happening in global trade. I mean, we're witnessing a massive, almost overnight disruption that's forcing everyone to completely rethink, well, everything. We're talking about a dramatic rerouting of the world's most essential supply lines, and this story is unfolding as we speak. And look, to put it bluntly, the world's most important waterways are basically on fire. I'm talking about the traditional shipping lanes, the arteries of global commerce we've relied on for generations, from the Strait of Hormuz to the Suez Canal. They've become what the industry is now calling red hot spots. They're not just risky anymore, they are active conflict zones. So this has created this really stark choice for the entire shipping industry. It's like, okay, do you take the Suez Canal route? It's fast, it's efficient, but now it is incredibly dangerous. Or do you take the long way around Africa's Cape of Good Hope? Yeah, it's a journey that's way slower, way more expensive, but, and this is the key part, it's safe. Okay, so Section 1, paralysis at sea. Let's really dig into the crisis itself, because this isn't just some minor hiccup. We're talking about a strategic paralysis that's hitting the absolute heart of global trade. And in the immediate impact, it's just staggering. Check this out. A 65% drop in giant tanker traffic through the supercritical Strait of Hormuz, and some reports suggest it's even been a near-total halt at times. So let's be clear, this isn't a slowdown, it's a shutdown. So why the shutdown? Well, the reason is terrifyingly clear. We're talking about direct military attacks. Think about it. Ballistic missiles and suicide drones have turned these waters into absolute no-go zones for commercial ships. What used to be a calculated risk is now just an unacceptable danger, period. So, in response to this complete paralysis at sea, the world's shipping giants have been forced into a pretty radical pivot. Let's call it the Great African Detour. And listen, this isn't some fringe movement, not at all. We are talking about the absolute titans of the industry. You've got Denmark's Maersk, Germany's Hapag-Lloyd, France's CMA-CGM. They've all officially announced they are rerouting their entire fleets around Africa. And just to be clear, this isn't some vague suggestion. It's a direct order from the top. I mean, when a company like Maersk comes out with a statement this definitive, you just know the entire economic map is being redrawn right before our eyes. What started out as a really costly emergency plan has, overnight become the new standard operating procedure. Okay, so now we get to Section 3, the price of safety. Because, of course, this new standard comes with a hefty price tag. So let's break down the really complex economic trade-offs of choosing this much, much longer route. It's kind of fascinating. The math here is really interesting. So going around Africa adds an extra 10 to 14 days to every single trip. And yeah, that spikes your operational costs by about 30%. But, and this is the really crucial part, insurance companies have totally slashed their premiums for this new route, while the insurance costs for going through the Suez have just skyrocketed. And this really shows you the shipper's dilemma perfectly. You've got this new economic reality where, ironically, the longer, more expensive journey has actually become the most economically viable option. It's wild. Companies are basically choosing the certainty of a higher fuel bill over the crippling, unpredictable cost of war risk insurance. And as if that wasn't enough, companies are now adding direct financial penalties just for attempting the old route. So Hapag-Lloyd has something called a war risk surcharge. CMA-CGM calls it emergency fees. And these fees, they apply to any shipment linked to over 10 countries in that region. Basically, they're making the Suez route prohibitively expensive on purpose. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, a continent of contrasts. Because this colossal shift is having some really profound and honestly contradictory effects all across Africa. It's creating both new dangers and, at the same time, totally unprecedented opportunities. So you might be thinking, okay, problem solved, right? You've got a safe new route, even if it is a bit long. But yeah, there is a catch. There's a pretty big, unexpected consequence to this whole global shift. And what is that catch? Well, a very familiar threat is coming back: piracy. You see, with all the international navies redeployed to the Middle East, it's created this security vacuum off the coasts of Africa, and that has emboldened criminal networks to start targeting these slower-moving tankers. And that doesn't just threaten the cargo, it threatens the stability of entire coastal economies. But here's where the story gets really interesting. While that risk is popping up again on some coasts, an absolutely incredible opportunity is unfolding on others. It's a stunning reversal of fortune, really. Ports all across the continent are suddenly experiencing an economic boom.
Take the port of Durban in South Africa. They've seen a 180% surge in demand for fuel and logistics. 180%!
And it's not just Durban, Tangier in Morocco. It's cementing its status as a massive global container hub. Walvis Bay in Namibia is suddenly emerging as this brand new gateway to the continent's interior. So these ports aren't just thriving, they're gaining real geopolitical leverage. They're becoming absolutely essential parts of this new global network. All right, Section 5. This brings us to the big, crucial question. What does this all mean for the long run? Are we just watching a temporary detour, or are we witnessing a permanent remapping of global trade itself? You know, one of the sources we looked at uses this really powerful metaphor for what's happening. It says that Africa's coastline is transforming into the new backbone for international trade. Think about that. This isn't just about a different route anymore. It's about a whole new center of gravity for global commerce. And it's not just a metaphor either. It's actually becoming official industry language. Insurers have already coined a term for it. They're calling it the green route because, well, it's the only path they consider safe and stable. It's the green light in a world full of red zones. And that name alone is cementing its status as the new default option. So that leaves us with one final critical thought to chew on. This whole thing, this massive shift, it all started as an emergency response, right? A temporary fix. But now, as new port infrastructure gets built, as new diplomatic ties are forged, and as a whole new generation of logistics gets established around this so-called green route, what happens when that temporary fix starts looking very, very permanent?